You're watching Brainstorm Acres. I'm Henry, and today I'm going to show you how to make some delicious jalapeno jelly. Delicious jalapeno jelly. It's another use for some of those peppers. Now, this jelly is pretty easy to make. It makes really quickly. It doesn't use a whole lot of ingredients. It uses about a half a cup of red wine vinegar, a tablespoon of lime juice, fresh squeezed lime juice, 3/4 of a cup of green bell peppers, 3/4 of a cup of red bell peppers, and 1/3 of a cup or thereabouts of jalapenos. Uses 2 3/4 cup of sugar, so it's got a fair amount of sweetness to it. But the sweetness, the sour from the vinegar, and the heat from the jalapeno really balance things out. Well, I have a fair number of things all ready to go. First, I chopped all of the peppers, so they're all ready to go. It's really pretty. Now I have my water boiling for the canner. It's because this recipe probably takes 10 minutes or so to get ready. So I want to make sure everything's ready to go for canning. What we want to do is get all of that sugar dissolved into the red wine vinegar and lime juice. Once that's going along pretty well, I'm going to add the peppers in. Now, I used to make this recipe by putting all these hot ingredients into a blender and whizzing it up. I don't do that anymore. I use an immersion blender. I find it a lot more convenient, it's safer, and I get fewer things messy. That means less to clean up. I have new lids for the jars sitting on the back. Now, according to the current thinking, I don't need to boil these. I'm just heating them up so that the seals soften to make the sealing process of canning easier. And of course, I have the jars in the canner right now. They'll be hot when I take them out so I can fill them up easily. I have a canning funnel and a lid lifter. Now, this is for picking up the lids out of the hot water. Has a magnet on the end. You know, when you live on a homestead, you have to have a variety of skills that are available to you and whoever else is living on the homestead as well. In our case, Irene and I both can cook and we can both can. Usually, Irene does the canning. I canned some fig jam last week when she was out of town. Today, she's working down in the studio because we have a show coming up pretty quickly. So she has a bunch of things to get ready. So today I'm cooking the jelly and canning it. Now, most of the sugar is dissolved in the pot. You have to be careful when you're doing this. You don't want to scorch the sugar. If you want it, that's fine, but we want a very clean, acidic, tangy, sweet, and somewhat hot jelly. I'm going to go ahead and put the peppers in now. The peppers smell delicious. You have to be careful when you're using jalapenos and other hot peppers because the juice that's left on your fingers can really sting. Don't touch your eyes. Don't touch your lips. Don't touch your partner. Boy, we have some stories about that. When we lived in New Mexico, friends would get green chilies. They would blister the peel to put some smoke in the flavor of the chilies. Well, people in the apartment behind us were busy preparing the chilies. And they didn't use any kind of gloves. And they kind of forgot about it until they went to bed. And oh boy, then you could hear the screams. Don't do that. I'm going to use the immersion blender to chop up those peppers just a little bit. What I'm looking for is a fine chop on those pepper pieces. I don't want any really big pieces, but I don't want them turned into puree either. That looks pretty good. There's some small chunks, but it's pretty much turned into smaller pieces, which will just look good in the jelly. What we need to do now is get this jelly boiling and then cook it for another 5 minutes. Then it'll be time to add some pectin and cook a little bit more. Then we're ready to can. And the jelly mixture just got to a boil. Now I just turned the heat down to a simmer. The whole point here now is to let this simmer for 5 minutes, and then we'll be adding the pectin and doing the rest of the job. We're going to be using a liquid pectin. This is a Sure Gel, a Certo brand of pectin. There's about 5 tablespoons in this packet, and I need 6. So I'll be using all of this package plus a little bit more from the other package. Now we have about 1.5 minutes left before we're ready to add the pectin. When I add the pectin, I'm going to put it all in at one time. Stir it in the pot, and then bring the heat back up and bring the jelly to a boil again. Once that's done, I'll be able to go ahead and start putting it into the jars to can it. I have the jelly to the boil again. Well, there you have it. The jalapeno jelly is in the jars, being canned. I'll give you a shot when we're all done. Well, our canning time is up. I'll take the jars out and we'll see how we did. As you can hear, they're sealing up just fine. The jelly I made today is a mild jalapeno jelly. You can spice it up as much as you want. You could increase the amount of jalapenos from 1/3 of a cup to say 2/3 of a cup. Or you could add some hotter chilies in. Still use jalapenos, but maybe add some ghost peppers or some other peppers that are your favorites. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel if you like what you saw. And don't forget to ring the bell. That tells you you're going to get notifications. Thanks for watching. Take care, friends. So today, I'm cooking the